An Idaho inmate will be executed in 3 weeks after almost 30 years on death row. Good evening and thank you for watching tonight. I'm Todd Blackington. In just a few weeks, the second Bingham County man in less than a year will be put to death. Richard Levitt was convicted of murdering a Blackfoot woman in her home and then mutilating her body. The heinous nature of this crime brought national media attention to the area. Today, our Phil Campbell had an opportunity to interview the man who was so instrumental in bringing this case to justice.
During his career, Tom Moss handled dozens of cases as the Bingham County prosecutor, and that includes the Richard Levitt death penalty case.
The brutality of the crime itself is the thing that stands out the most. It was a very brutal crime, and that's why the death sentence was imposed, because it was the only way you can get a death sentence is if there's something that goes beyond a murder. A murder is a heinous act, especially when the murder is of a defenseless young lady who's attacked in her bed at night.
As for the decision to seek the death penalty, Tom says it was an easy one.
The conduct of the defendant in the process of the murder made it especially heinous and atrocious. And that's why the death sentence was imposed. To have a death sentence imposed, you've got to have something above and beyond the ordinary murder, if there is such a thing. And that is, there's got to be something additional that makes it especially bad and makes it worthy of the death penalty. And in this case, one of the findings the judge made is the crime was especially heinous and atrocious, and it was.
A lot has changed in the decades since Richard Levitt was sentenced to death. In fact, the courthouse where the trial was held is now this beautiful park. Soon, justice will be served in this case. But Tom believes Idaho needs to do a better job at enforcing its laws.
Well, my thoughts are that if we're going to have a law, it needs to be enforced. Now, if we don't have it, then that's fine. If we don't have a death sentence law, then that's okay. That wouldn't bother me all that much, but it is the law, and therefore it ought to be carried out.
I asked Tom if he was planning on attending the execution, and he said that he would consider it, but he has not been invited yet. Reporting from Blackfoot, Phil Campbell, KPVI News 6.
Richard Levitt is scheduled to be executed on June 12th. We will be at the penitentiary and we'll be bringing you that story as it develops on the air and online.